Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So today I thought we would do something fun. I thought that we would do a general reading for you about this or that, deciding between two options. So I'll just show you how this reading is going to look. Sorry if you can hear my landscapers in the background. It's going to look something like this. We're going to look at your situation, and then we're going to look at the upsides and downsides of both choice A and B. And then we're also going to see what you should do to change and choose the pile. So what you need to do to choose or change each one. Okay, so if you're new to my channel, my name is Carrie Kopp Adams. I have a slew of things that I do besides tarot. There are some energetic healings on my Etsy shop. All of my links to my readings are down below, so welcome. And if you like this video, do give it a heart or a like. Helps my channel get seen, and I really appreciate the energy exchange. So let's take a look at the cards representing you and your situation. What is going on here? Ooh. Right off the bat, the beautiful Two of Pentacles. Now this is my Wild Unknown Tarot. I see the Four of Pentacles reversed on the bottom. Looking for this situation, we have the Seven of Wands in this deck, or staves. And lastly, two cards want to scream at me here. Interesting. We have the Hierophant in reverse. So I sort of feel like if this is a love interest, and I will read for both because we do have some pentacles here. So if this is a love interest, this could be somebody that promised you something. Maybe it was a proposal of marriage or a higher level of commitment, and you kind of see them, their flame is dimming, maybe they're losing interest. This is what you feel, right? You thought this connection was going to a higher level of commitment. You guys were doing so well. Maybe you had moved in together. You're sharing finances. Maybe you started a business together. And I would say the same thing for career too. It's an opportunity here that just seems to have stalled or not worked out in some way. So let's take a look at our choices here. So if we choose choice A, and a lot of times this is about a person, right? So we could say person one or person two, or the person and going it alone. However these resonate. So, person A is represented by the Sentinel. I love this. It has Amor Fati here, which is a love of fate, determination and certainty. So this is going to be the path that represents the most clarity, and it's going to be your yes pile, basically. The best path forward for you. And I see these sort of stave-like looking things here. It could even be swords. So there's almost this idea of like, whatever choice A represents to you, that is someone who is very clear about choosing you. Or it could mean that whoever you're asking about will come around and it's not what you think. But either way, the energy of this pile is sort of like, it could be choosing yourself as well. Like, you're okay with whatever happens to you because you're a whole person and your wholeness is not dependent on this other person. And for choice B, we have the Catalyst, radical changes and taking control. What is going on in this picture? Interesting. So this person or this pile represents somebody who has strong Uranus energy. Maybe they're an Aquarius or air sign. Just somebody who's a little bit more chaotic, a little bit more unpredictable, a little less sure. So it could be that you are choosing between two suitors, and maybe we're looking for this one to be a little bit more tied down, and in reality, it is this person. Or it could mean that this person did not act like you assumed they would, or maybe you feel like they've been showing you two faces, and the cards are saying, trust the second option. So let's see. Now I had two cards pop out in the situation. The Four of Cups reversed and the Four of Pentacles. So what's super interesting here is this has no doubt affected your stability, right? Because the Four of Pentacles, the Four of Cups is like a missed opportunity in its upright position, and right now it's upside down. So it's like you don't really know what to choose. We already know that. You wouldn't be here if you didn't. But the Four of Pentacles, I'm trying to think what's on the regular card. It usually means someone who is a bit of a miser. And so there's somebody here who is kind of a spendthrift, to be honest. I'm thinking it's this person. So here, this is why I bring these up. You just don't know who to trust, right? I would say that this person is a little bit more like sure usually. And this person, I think you can kind of trust them to be really fun and freewheeling. And of course, you can always choose yourself as one of these piles. But I can see why you are conflicted here, because it's like, do I choose the chivalrous path or the open road, as we would say in the New Age community? So let me take a look at the upsides of pile A, your Sentinel. And of course, the Sentinel, I'm thinking of Harry Potter. I'm thinking of the chess scene where it's like the Sentinel's kind of a knight. This person could be involved in politics, government, or just really just like love, law, and order, or capitalism in general. Maybe that's the choice here, is you're like, do I do, in terms of career, the thing that is more sure and going to give me money? Or do I follow my heart into my own business endeavor or art? Let's just see. So for pile A, we have give it time. Everything in divine timing. Let things flow. So what I can tell you is, right off the bat, don't try to control this person. I feel that this person is sort of in an energy in their life where they have also had a setback. So this reminds me more of an earth sign, or maybe a fire sign that has a lot of earth in their chart. They come off maybe, so we have like a fire rising or a fire sun sign, very charismatic, very sunny, happy-go-lucky, but you know when something's bothering them because they will retreat into themselves. And it is best not to push a person like this to sort of recover and be the person that you want them to be in this moment. We have a plant here. So it's like something is growing, something is gestating, and of course, we need to struggle a little bit in order to see the fruits of our labor. So if this pile kind of represents that more sure path, excuse me, we're in a recession right now if you're here in the West. I mean, I call it a recession because a lot of things have become a lot more difficult to pay for. So this person or this path is something that's going to cause you to bide your time. It's not going to happen overnight, especially if this person does have a lot of air in their chart. Their love is tied to how romantic they are, how romantic they feel is tied to how well you guys work financially. So if you're living together, how well you share the space, how well you split the responsibilities, but also to their work. They don't typically feel, and insert your pronouns where you will, that they're on top of the world unless they know that they can pay for things, and in some cases for you. Like, they want to be able to treat you to what they feel like you really deserve. So yeah. And then for pile B, the upsides here is commitment. So remember how I said that this was your yes pile? I still kind of feel like this, but at the same time, for people who are asking about this pile 2 in terms of a suitor or a romantic capacity, this person, it's telling me that is just kind of putting up a front because they feel like you are just so far ahead of them in terms of either finances or spiritual transformation, or that marriage between the 3D and the 5D, that they don't want to seem desperate. And I hate this. So comment down below if you're with me, because how is somebody able to really take you for face value and be honest back if you're not upfront about how you feel? So this person is a little bit of a game player, but at the end of the day, they are thinking about that higher commitment with you. And maybe that's why this person has pulled back, because I get the sense that this pile 2 has really not had a great upbringing in some way, a good model for marriage, and that typical kind of structure. So that's why they're not acting in a correct manner, so to speak, about this. And of course, if this is your pile for that open road path, the artistic path, the business path, it's going to require dedication for you to make this happen. But I actually see this situation manifesting faster than this one, notably because this person is probably an air sign and they do have a little bit more impulsivity to them, or fire, but also just because when we follow our heart, it is sort of the more fulfilling path. This is so funny. I'm also getting Pride and Prejudice for somebody like Mr. Darcy, and I can't remember the other guy's name, but he didn't end up being a great person in the show. So let's just say, like, yeah, if he was a good person, somebody like that. This is like a rogue type individual. And I just want to say before we move on the bottom we have communicate. So if you compromise, if you forgive, if you work it out, if like something really not great happened with either of these two possibilities in terms of a romantic sense, then communication is what is needed here to bridge the gap. And this person would prefer a letter, whereas this person would prefer a gesture. So just something to think about. Now we get into the juice, the downsides of choosing pile A. So the upsides in terms of give it time is you have a steady person. This person is somebody that crosses their T's and dots their I's. They make sure everything is checked off on the list before they go on vacation. They manage their money well, right? The upsides of this person is when they commit to something, they throw themselves like wholeheartedly into it. I would say represents a neurodivergent person as well, or maybe just using, if this is a career choice, like that part of your brain that, isn't bound to an office chair and doesn't just do work for other people, which is not to say that that's what either of these two people do if you're reading it for romance. But the upside is, for career, you'll have more happiness on this path. And for this one, you'll have more stability, I would say. And in a romantic capacity, you have a stable person. You have somebody who's really dependable and reliable, like a lot of earth signs are. And on this path, you have passion, you have freewheeling. Sagittarius is represented here. And somebody who will just like be your hype person. So, there's some upsides on both of these paths. I think this here is going to be the real decider. And only you can know this. That's why I like this reading. So, for pile 1, we have the graveyard. It says, there is a song that bellows in the peace of knowing no end and acknowledging the crossroads of eternity. It says, dearest wife and mother in the back. It also says, beloved daughter. And it breaks down to a 9 with 18. So the downsides of pile A. Yeah, I actually see this fizzling out. Is that if you're looking for commitment from this person and they have pulled back because they are not ready. They have pulled back because either they fear they will fail and it will not be good enough. They are grieving someone right now, a mother figure, a sister, a feminine in their life, and this will block their relationship with the feminine. Or it just is meant to last only for a short time, that if you do marry or move in with this person, it will not be for forever. That is what I see right now. The cards are a snapshot in time. So just take what resonates and leave the rest. You will feel it in your body if this rings true for you. We have 3 ladies here, so it just feels like, I do feel like this person is prone to depression. I feel like that's why they're very slow and methodical about what they do. They fear so much that something will fail, that sometimes it never gets off the ground. Or sometimes it feels like the celebration, because this is kind of giving me 3 of Cups energy, isn't worth it. So like, they're very hard on themselves, and perfectionism will be a downfall in this relationship. If you read this as like a career path, it sort of feels like you'll burn out. It's really interesting because it's like, give it time, and then the graveyard. You'll work yourself into an early grave. This is just not the more fulfilling road in some way to me. I don't even know what this would mean if you chose this pile as yourself, but hopefully this is making sense to you. And then for the downsides of pile B, we have coming of winter. And it says, it comes in lullabies deep within your mirrored flesh. Alas, it is time to lay your quivering chest upon winter's coming. So this is my Samhain Oracle deck, and this deck is dark, and I chose it for a reason. Obviously, I'm in a Halloween mood, and we're rounding the corner to that time of year in North America. So she has wheat in her hands. There's candles here. We're anticipating the chill of winter, and the 11 is the master transformation number. So I actually do see that if you're reading pile B for a person or even the career path, this is probably going to be the more fulfilling road. In some cases, it kind of feels like this person is stalling. And if you sort of figure that they were not who they presented to be, you would be correct. Versus this is somebody who's just misunderstood a little bit. They do things in silence. They move in silence. They're not showy. They don't put everything on social media. They're a little witchy. They sort of unconsciously take time to move with the seasons or the moon or astrology. They're just a really intrinsic, intuitive, like witchy type person. And I think that that's your connection, obviously, since you're here for this tarot reading. Something about this person holds the key for you to a really fulfilling relationship. And as far as the downsides of this go, is that, yeah, I would say both people are prone to a little bit of melancholy. This person has a holier than thou streak somewhere. They sort of try to wriggle out of responsibility when things get hard sometimes. They're not as a stable presence here, but they're very honest with themselves. And I think that they would be a better communicator in that way. Sometimes with earth signs, they're really averse to or not very fluid about speaking in emotions. And this person, those emotions will come out unbidden, maybe harshly sometimes in an argument, but you will still get to the truth. And it does sort of appear like both people obviously are in the winter of their life to a certain extent in different ways, and they're not sure maybe necessarily if they are able to commit or give you what you want. But I do feel like this person wants to offer you something, because we have the wheat behind the back, that even in their low point, they have something to offer you. They're thinking of you. They put their clothes on every day and they make themselves look their best for you. Versus this person here seems to a certain extent like they become very selfish or mean or cruel. Sometimes maybe they'll drink when they're depressed. And that's not the energy. That is an energy that you will leave if you marry this person or live with this person. Or if this is your career path and you end up like that. It's just not a favorable energy to be in. Whereas here you just take a little bit more time to think about things. You thresh your wheat and you keep moving on, you know. So, what do we need to do to change or choose A? So if this is your person and you're like, no, I want to stick with that person. I believe in them, or I believe in this career path. This is what I know, and this is what I want. What would you need to do to change or choose this path? This is from my Rumi Oracle. And we have Sacred Union. So it could be that this person is a twin flame for you. And they're just really, 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 really in the dark night of the soul. And what they need you to do to change the energy in this situation is choose them, is basically come to them first with the proposal of what you want, to not let them guess what it is. And, 19 breaks down to a 2. So, actually it breaks down to a 1. So, I also feel like you would need to show this person that you could be a little bit more independent, because if you have rushed into this relationship, then this person is questioning whether or not how needy you will be in this relationship. So if you are an anxious attachment, this is probably not the situation for you, even though anxious and avoidant people do attract. But you will need to maybe spend some time and really figure out if you can do things by yourself, or if you really like sleeping with somebody, even if they're not there during the day, or maybe there's a hobby like camping that just doesn't jive with you, and you're like, I don't want to do this. It makes me feel uncomfortable to be among the wild, even though that is this person's happy place. So we need to take a break so I can cultivate the things I need to cultivate in order to be with you, or decide whether or not this is what I want. It also kind of feels like this is fated in a way, which is interesting with Amor Fati. This might be something that you have to go through in order to get your finances right, get your house, get your children, get some of the other external things that you want. Only you can really know. And then with pile B, look at this. We have from nothing to everything. So it feels like what you would have to do in order to change the energy or choose this pile is also declare in a certain way that this is what you want. Both of these people are not very communicative people. It's interesting that we end on a similar note. But here, I think this person is really looking for, since 16 breaks down to a 7, an acknowledgement of how important spirituality is in your life. So if you have been like a solitary witch, letting this person know, like, hey, I am just as weird as you are, or I really like celebrating the Shabbats, or Halloween is my favorite holiday, but I'm not religious, or whatever it is. To know this person knows that you are on common ground will make them feel a little bit more solid about this commitment to you. And that's sort of what this reading indicates to me. It's about whether or not this person is going to commit. And also I feel like telling this person, like, I see you and I accept that shadow, will also go a long way. In terms of changing, it's really interesting over here. It's like there's not much you could do to change. You really only can choose this connection. I guess the only other way you would change it is if you chose somebody else or chose this person. Whereas for here, it feels like the change will happen by choosing, is basically what the energy feels like. And I actually feel like communication will help this situation become a lot more stable. Whereas like here, it just feels like two people are on a parallel trajectory to growth. Sometimes you will intersect and sometimes you won't, especially if you resonate with this, soulmate kind of label. But you just kind of have to decide how you want to grow, what would feel more fulfilling to you. So yeah. We are going to get one more card here for advice, since we have this nice slot here in the middle. Like this video if you like it, subscribe to my channel, hit that bell for notifications, and do check out my readings down below. I have this format if you want like a more informal, we're not face-to-face type reading, message to you through video so you can see all the cards. And then on my Etsy shop, they're done over the Etsy messages. So I will send you a screenshot of the spread and then a short paragraph about what it means. So do check those out. I've never gotten this card before. I allow stillness to heal and reveal, and we have 18 again. So I can't think of a better way, honestly, to end this reading. This, as a lot of my readings indicate, is really about your intuition. You have to open up your third eye. I would suggest taking one of my guided meditations. I'll put them below. There's a twin flame one, as well as a meeting your soulmate. And they do tap into some energetic healing. I have energetic healings as well on my Etsy shop, both for twin flames and for you singularly. I would recommend that to try to get a little bit more clear on which path to take. But basically, if you want to do something on your own, aside from these meditations, walk in nature. Like, find a place to be absolutely still, and amongst the elements and things that are unbiased towards you. In other words, not people. And when you sit with yourself and you really assess what you need, I think you will find the answer will become a lot more clear. But since we have number 18 up here and we have 18 here in graveyard, the energy is just sort of like, you are so holy. You are so loved. You are so perfect as you are that you don't need someone who's going to appreciate the less of you to ascend to whatever you're trying to do in this world. And it's not saying very much about pile B here, but it's more of a message just for you. Oh, and I should probably cover her a little. I don't want to get in trouble. But yes, it's sort of like you're like this fairy, ethereal being, and there is kind of an indication here. Remember, I said this person plots things by the moon to tap into those natural psychic abilities, and this will guide you through your life in more ways than just who am I supposed to be with or what career path am I supposed to take. Oh yeah, and in terms of career, this pile B2 is from nothing to everything. I mean, that's the clear choice, I really feel like. If you are choosing between two things, go shoot for your dreams, you know? I think that it can be really difficult to go for something that we want. It's like fear of failure or even fear of success, but we are so worth it. And as far as we know, we really only get this one life. So live it as artfully as we possibly can, whichever road we go down. So that's what I have for you. Thank you so much for joining me. I know this was sort of a different type of reading. Let me know if this resonated down below, and I will see you next time for the next reading.